You go into a dark room, distracted. You sit down and suddenly you hear someone shout out, "Who's there?" Who are they talking to? You look around. Could they mean you? Oh, no wait. You're watching a play with some friends. The actors are talking to each other. Or are they? In the play Hamlet, two royals sit down to watch a play. And the truth is that they are the ones being watched. Human beings obsess over the lives of other people, oblivious to what it means to contribute to a character themselves. Change only the name, and this story is about you. Here in the 21st century, we try to look at truth objectively, which means we try to see it as a distant third party, or from a clinical standpoint, or from space, or like it has nothing to do with us. And then we wonder why nothing feels personal about our own lives.
Hamlet is a story about me? That's the most false thing I have ever heard. No one in the play can ride skateboards. They don't have my taste in fashion or the arts.
How well would you say you know yourself? Let's play a game to see if this story sounds like your own. You sometimes wonder how much of a say you have in your own life. You think about how to put things into words so you can measure up to others. You find yourself struggling with the question of whether or not you want to be yourself. If you answered no to all of these questions, it probably means you are afraid to go in front of the mirror, and you will definitely hate this video. But if you decide to stick around, we're going to look at these 3 ways Hamlet is in truth a story about your life. First, we're going to look at the struggle you faced with fatalism and bad faith, at how easy it is to cloud your own understanding with smoke, to the point where you can't see yourself anymore. Then we're going to look at how you face the absurdity of life and the futility of trying to define your value in words to other people, because no one feels more pathetic in life than the people who try to one-up each other bragging about their accomplishments at cocktail parties. I also want to take a look at a comment someone posted here at Existential Hero. Last, we're going to look at what Albert Camus says is the most important question about your life. You might have answered this question like our boy Hamlet, or perhaps you are like most people who punt this answer because they might not like what they find. The play ends with Fortinbras saying Hamlet should be put on a stage.
I thought we just watched something that was on a stage.
No, we were watching our own lives. Fortinbras continues to insist the titular character has proved most royally. Is that referring to you as well? If it isn't, then maybe it is talking about someone you could be, perhaps someone you long to be. What does it mean to be in bad faith? Is that like the name of a metal band? Or when you show up 10 minutes late for church? No, bad faith is when you hide your intentions away, often from yourself, in order to achieve some external goal. In the play, the Uncle King and Laertes make a wager about how good Hamlet's sword skills are with Laertes. Except, it's not a good faith wager. Their intentions are buried in their schemes. They're trying to bring Hamlet to a brutal end. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are 2 men that try to lure Hamlet to England for mental health purposes and business, but their intentions are also occluded. They're trying to unalive Hamlet. We see lots of people suspecting each other of suspicious activity because they are suspicious people. Unlike Hamlet, who only recognizes how messed up everything is under the surface because a supernatural force, in this case a ghost, intervenes and tells him about it. Have you ever felt like the people around you in your life are fake? And that the more you go along with them, the more fake your life is going to be? And that living a fake life could make your own life into a tragedy? Above all, fake people try to hide from themselves that they have an actual choice in any given situation. They think it will help them feel justified, and maybe people will still think they're not so bad. So far, we've looked at examples of people hiding their intentions from each other. But what about hiding your intentions from yourself? One way people hide their choices from themselves is fatalism. We can see this in the play. Hamlet's mother, the queen, tells her son, "Good Hamlet, cast thy nighted color off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever, with thy veiled lids, seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou know'st 'tis common, all that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity." The queen is trying to get Hamlet to stop brooding. In other words, to stop trying to be such an existential hero, by telling him that we have no choice about coming to the end of our lives. Everyone reaches their end. What could be more inevitable about this? Perhaps she's so confrontational with Hamlet because she thinks everyone else has checked out of life the same way she has, giving up on her first love, Hamlet's father. In any case, people tend to deny that they have options when they want to point someone down a dark, deplorable path. The truth is, we can accept that our days here are limited and make the most of them. After all, we don't understand what we have until we understand how fleeting it is. Existence is only understood negatively. The other option is to laugh our lives away. The people who take this pill are usually the last ones to warn you that, as Solomon once put it, laughter can conceal a heavy heart, but when the laughter ends, the grief remains. What do people do when they feel embarrassed that they are making a miserable choice? They insist that they never had a choice in the first place. Have you ever done something you regret after telling yourself you had to do it that way? Or told yourself you had to get out of bed because the alarm clock was ringing? Or told yourself that people move in with their boyfriends because that's just what people do? Hamlet casts off the shackles of fatalism. Horatio tells Hamlet that if he thinks anything sounds off about being compelled by the king to appear in a fencing match, he should slink out of it with a scheme. But Hamlet responds, "Not a whit. We defy augury. There's a special province in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come, the readiness is all. Since no man has aught of what he leaves, what is it to leave betimes?" In other words, Hamlet casts off all fatalisms by emphasizing that even in the inevitability of reaching the final end, we still have a choice about how prepared we are going to be to face our exit from this life. But fatalism isn't the only kind of bad faith. There's also pretending to be an extension of other people. At birth, we are given a unique name by our parents, and then we spend a lifetime trying to blend in with other people. Have you never felt yourself settling for a life lived in the eyes of other people? We tell ourselves that if we have a life in the eyes of someone else, then at least we have a life. And the ancient Greeks used to imply that a person could go on living forever if they stayed famous enough. Perhaps the tabloids sell so well because people think, oh, here are some people who will go on forever in the memory of others. Kierkegaard tells a story about a time where he was walking through a cemetery and saw a statue carrying a sword over a soldier's grave, as if his story was so triumphant that people would always remember him. The story ends with Kierkegaard wishing he could steal the sword from the statue to fight off the vines that had been growing on the tombstone for years. There's so many problems with acting like other people remembering you is living forever. How can you be sure what other people are thinking? In Hamlet, we see people trying so hard to see who is the imposter, as they frequently say, by drift of question. But what assurance is there in that? And if somehow you could be sure that someone had a high opinion of you, and then they ran off, what good does that do to you then? I guess you can imagine that they go off and build some kind of monument for you, but can you in truth build an actual identity out of something imaginary? Hamlet is blown away by how Rosencrantz and Guildenstern seek the king's favor so thoroughly that they have no identity in their own lives. He says, "Why, man, they did make love to this employment." People act like playing a role and getting likes are the best thing that ever happened to them. Like it's some kind of sublime mystery unfolding into their lives. More like unfolding into a contrived daydream, I'd say. At some point, I think everyone has felt like their life would be better if they were famous. One guy in the comments suggested I was an existential hero. Or maybe I'm just attacking the popularity contest of YouTube because I'm trying to get my videos to go viral and win the popularity contest of YouTube.
Woo!
So think of Hamlet like it is about you and not about me. Ask yourself, would you rather have a meaningful life in obscurity or to be celebrated by the herd while dying inside? These are the stakes. Do you ever feel bothered? Hamlet felt bothered. For someone whose problems could not be identified by the king without propping up all kinds of schemes and spending all kinds of resources, Hamlet is quite open with us about what bothers him. He was bothered about actors giving a sleepy delivery of the most impassioned lines in a play. He was bothered about Denmark. He was bothered about bad dreams. Ultimately, all this suffering boils down to one question. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep, no more, and by a sleep to say we end. Hamlet asks whether or not all the suffering is worth the living, or consider the way Albert Camus put it. Judging whether life is or is not worth living amounts to answering the fundamental question of philosophy. Shakespeare is not going to hold your hand and tell us whether it is going to be worth getting out of bed each day and enduring all these things. He's challenging us to answer this question by living it, by showing up or checking out. And regardless of how you answer the question, since you can freely answer it either way, you have no one else to blame for this choice but yourself. Shakespeare is using the play Hamlet to reveal something about yourself. In Act 3, the queen watches a play about a queen and remarks, "The lady doth protest too much, methinks." She doesn't see how the story is about herself, even as she becomes the epitome of the character. This is just like how you and I are on full exhibition on several levels, and our awareness of this situation may be quite thin. Just like the queen says that the character portraying the queen gripes too much, which is itself a gripe, our understanding of the people in our lives say more about you and I than they do any kind of thing about historical people. Hamlet says, "To know a man well, or to know himself." So if you want to understand the play enough to enjoy it and find some kind of understanding in it, then you had better make an effort to understand yourself. You are the only one in your story that you have any control over. Hamlet tells us that if you view your life as bad, then it will be bad. If you view your life as good, then it will be good. For there is nothing, either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. This starts with how you are managing yourself inside. Are you like Hamlet, afraid of what dreams may come in the afterlife? Then take a listen to what the sponsor of today's video, Jesus Christ, has to say about it. Jesus told his followers to rejoice because their names are written in the book of life. How do you have your name written in the book of life? By trusting in Jesus. If he has the power to raise himself from the dead, it shows he has the power to bring you into his kingdom. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel.